Excellent. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with me here. I'm in sunny Lanzarote. It's Sunday evening, 10 o'clock UK time, and interestingly, 10 o'clock Lanzarote time as well. Um, so, we're doing a Wealth Warriors Zoom call, but it's not a standard presentation. This presentation will not be suitable for talking to people about Wealth Warriors or about any of the standard platforms we've got. However, it may serve as a reference point. If there's something discussed and you want to refer back to it, then I'll make it available. If I can, of course, things can go wrong during presentations, and it won't be suitable for putting up on YouTube. But that's the plan at the moment. So I don't have a presentation. I don't have a PowerPoint presentation for you. I know you're all sad, but you just have to live with that. What I'm going to do is sort of freewheel it a little bit, where I want to do two things. One is I want to put to bed once and for all anything to do with Bit Harvest, give you my thoughts. Not saying my thoughts are more valuable than yours, but some people would like to know what my thoughts are. It kind of validates theirs, or it strengthens their opposition. So that's one of the functions. Hopefully, you will form an opinion about Bit Harvest and the way ahead with that by the end of this presentation. And then I want us to turn our attention to Loom-X and why we're doing it, what it's all about. Maybe even look at some back office screenshots and things like that. So, with Bit Harvest, we were talking a few minutes ago before we started the recording that I feel it's a shame I didn't actually go to the head office when I was invited within the first few weeks of the company launch. Because when they changed the compensation plan in November last year, I raised a big red flag and I shouted it from the rooftops. I told all the leaders I could get hold of. One of the leaders, some of you know Jan, he put it forward to the powers that be at head office. He put it forward twice, quite forcefully the second time, and they kind of ignored what I'd said, even though it was coming from Jan. So you may recall that as Wealth Warriors, we sort of cooled off a little bit on Bit Harvest. We weren't promoting it anywhere near as much as we used to. We weren't buying boosters as much as we used to. And so we sort of coasted along a little bit because I think just based on the fact that I wasn't happy, you guys probably caught that from me. It's like a cold, you probably caught that cold off me and became less enamored with Bit Harvest. Meanwhile, we pressed ahead and got some other platforms on the go. Some have actually started and are working forward, and others we're still waiting for them to get off the starting blocks. But we didn't focus all of our time on Bit Harvest anymore because we'd lost the shine, if you like. It turns out that since the demise of Bit Harvest, the leaders have been talking. So, well, I thought this was suspicious, and I was curious about that. And I could never get an answer about this particular thing. And it turns out that they actually had the leaders between them all had the answers for what was going on as much as they could know. That apparently the company lied to everybody, including the top leaders. But collectively, the leaders, if they'd have been talking to each other, they'd have been a lot closer to what was going on. My opinion of Bit Harvest is that they set out deliberately they didn't set out right at the very beginning, but at some point, somebody joined the company and said, look, you don't want to do what you're planning to do, have boosters, mining Bitcoin forever. If you do this, you'll make a lot more money. And they were in a position of influence and everybody listened to them, as in all of the management of Bit Harvest listened to them, and that's what they did. I think their strategy or their plan is to take all the boosters. There's no way of knowing if the boosters were ever mining Bitcoin, but the money we got had to come from somewhere. It was too much money to just come from all the new people getting in. They paid out far more in bonuses than that. So yeah. But there's no real evidence they were mining, but I suspect they were. And I think what they've done is taken the boosters for themselves, and they don't really want to pay us for them. even though that's the ethical thing to do. So what they did is they bought them off us at double the value. So in court, any judge would say, well, you were given double the value. But the coin that we were paid in was in BTH, which um, as soon as we'd received that money, it fell through the floor because it's subject to market forces, and nobody really wants BTH. The company purport that they do have a plan for making, putting some value back into BTH, and so there's a possibility that at some point in the future there'll be a marketplace for somebody who wants to buy your BTH, and you can get some money for it. Whether you get a lot of money or a little bit of money probably depends more on timing than anything else. But of course, there is a possibility that that coin will just disappear completely. So that being said, um, what's the kind of philosophy behind what I'm going to say next is that if we have no control over something, it's pointless putting any time or energy or effort, mental energy being the thing that we have the least of. So it's pointless trying to do something where we have no control. So I think our best policy is to say, right, Bit Harvest is gone. I won't write it off completely, but I'll put it on the back burner with all those other projects that I've got, $200 or $500 sat in a wallet somewhere, hoping that one day something will happen. So I'll put Bit Harvest in that category. I'll check it every few months and see what's happening. Because if we continue to focus on that, we'll lose energy from what we want to do going forward. So going forward, what's changed? I've changed to a certain extent. As you know, that Wealth Warriors was a project that I started because I honestly believed that there were projects out there that we could identify that were good, solid projects that would last for 10, 15, 20 years. And I've got to confess, I thought the Bit Harvest was one of them. Um, and when Bit Harvest failed, I wasn't despondent, but I was adult enough to realize that I need to look at my strategy, the way I think about this marketplace, this online business industry. So I did. I spent a lot of time thinking about it, talking about it with a few sort of trusted advisors, if you like, people that I know and trust. Um, and it could be that my way of looking at this, it might not be wrong, but it might not be complete either. I think that we need to change the way we look at these platforms. We if we find one that's going to last for 20 years, brilliant. But we must never put ourselves in a position where if that platform goes, we've lost everything we built up for the last 10 years, 15 years, whatever it is. Okay. So we've got to always have a strategy where we're taking some money out, but we're also reinvesting some money. With Bit Harvest, well, I actually did that. I took out a lot more money than I put back in. But ultimately, when it all went pop, I had just put $21,000 in to upgrade all my boosters. I got about 5,000 back after that. Over the period of time, I made quite a lot of money from Bit Harvest, but as I'm sat here right now, there's £21,000 of my money that was in my pocket a few weeks ago that's in somebody else's pocket right now. So I could have been smart and avoided that, but I wasn't. I kind of, yeah, I believed what was happening. And I believed that Bit Harvest had a future. So I think what we've got to do is change our thinking a little bit and say, well, we must never put ourselves in a position where if something goes wrong with that platform, with any of the platforms, we're massively out of pocket. Okay. For example, if something happens to BitNex now, um, I've lost $100. I don't think that's a disaster. The fact that I've got many more thousands tied up in there is just missed opportunity to take that money out. So again, it's like it's not money from my own pocket, so I don't feel bad about that. Um, So I think we need to be putting ourselves in that position. So what I discussed with Jan probably 3 years ago now is that we need a system. First of all, we need to figure out how to manage when these platforms go bust, when they kick us out, take everything and run away. We need a system to manage that, which we've put in place this time round with the demise of Bit Harvest. And the second thing we need, moving on now to evolve into the next stage, is a way of managing that so that if and when it does
Hi.
happen with another platform, so is that Dave sneezing? If and when it does happen with another platform, we're already ahead of the game. We've already got our money out. We're already aware that things might be going wrong, and we don't put another $21,000 of money that you don't want to into something that's about to go bust. So that's kind of where I am. I think that it might even be there might even be two different strands, if you like, two different businesses. One is the one where we believe it's actually going to be there for a long time, like I believe BitNex is, like I believe Republic of Old Souls is. But then there's other businesses where we've got to say, okay, I think we've got a year to make our money, and after the year's up, we, if something happens, then we've made money. I suspect platforms that we think are going to last less than a year, we won't waste time with. But we also need to not be naive and think that every business we get involved with is going to last forever. That's kind of where I am with Loom-X. I like Loom-X. I've been looking at it for a couple of days now, playing with it. I funded an account. I've been through it all, looked at all the presentation, been all over the app, and it looks good. I honestly believe that we will all make money from this in the next year. And of course, there are no guarantees, but I think that if we say, well, let's plan to put ourselves in a good position by this time next year, and then we'll be very careful about what we're doing after that. And it might be that even if the platform continues to work, we say, well, I'm not going to compound and keep compounding and aim to make millions of dollars when I can make $5,000 a month, and not expose myself to too much risk, just have maybe $5,000 tied up in it, then that might be the way to go. So maybe work it hard for a year to make some big bucks, and then after the year, reevaluate our strategy, reevaluate your strategy, so that you minimize your exposure, thinking that if it lasts, I'm okay, and if it doesn't last, then I'm still okay. That's what I think. Has anybody got any thoughts on what I've said so far? You're welcome to unmute yourselves and give us your tuppence worth, give us your opinion.
I totally agree, Andy. I totally agree. I was just thinking to myself, I'm in the same boat you are. I didn't have 21,000 tied up, but I had about 5,000 that I just upgraded my boosters with. So I guess I would like a short synopsis to make me feel better of the platforms we're currently in, and then how you feel about each one, and maybe we could have a monthly update on that. Yeah. And also, I guess are you talking about the potential platforms that maybe don't meet Wealth Warrior standard, but could be good for us? Could be also, I'm sure you have some of those like Ultima, and maybe some others that aren't really Wealth Warrior standards, but are potentially good for members.
Okay. Answering the last question first. Yes, that's pretty much how I'm viewing Loom-X.
Okay.
So I'll tell you what I was suspicious of with Loom-X straight away. You know that I've actually analysed getting very close now to 300 businesses over the last 2 years.
Right.
And a
Right. Right.
huge number of them, as soon as I see that is these business plans where they deal in gas and coal and gold and silver and crypto and real estate, and they deal in all these things. They haven't got a license for any of it between any of them. They're not registered with any regulators anywhere. It's all crap. So
Right.
as soon as I see that, this is give me $100 for 5 days, and I'll give you, or for 7 days, and I'll give you 2% a day, or something like that.
Right.
They are all rubbish. There's nothing behind any of
Right.
them.
Right.
So that's what you see when you look at Loom-X. And I thought,
Okay.
okay, so I'm not. But then what I did is I looked into it, and you can actually see the bot. It actually prints out uh, the thoughts it's having, if you like, what currency pair it's looking at, what it's buying at, what it's selling at, what the profit was, the date, the time, everything, and it lists on and on and on all these different trades, one after the other, all these different. I'll call them trades. They're not really. Some of them are arbitrage. They actually do three or four different things. Some of it's arbitrage, some of it's trading, some of it's some other stuff. But it's all transparent right there, and then it gives you the hashtag, so you can actually click on the hashtag and go and look it up on the blockchain explorer, the Binance blockchain, and see those transactions. So
Okay.
it gives me a lot more faith. There's a couple of other things that I like about it that we'll come on to in a few minutes. But that's what I didn't like when I first looked at it. But I was prepared to
Yeah.
give it a go.
Yeah. Every one of those that are one percenters a day seem like they're there for 4, 5, 6 months, and then they're dust.
Exactly. And I've always asked people, show me what they do to make the money. Oh, well,
Right.
they're in gold. Okay, well, I do gold forex trading once in a while. I can't guarantee to make 2% a day.
No.
Gold isn't doing 2% a day every day for months. It just isn't.
No. No.
So anyway,
That's kind of the concern with BitNex is that we see it what it's doing, I guess. We really don't know, the insurance company, the bank, or anything that it's really doing in the background.
well, there was an article published a couple of weeks ago. Somebody named one of the banks.
Oh,
I thought I grabbed it and published it in the group.
okay. I'll have to
Um,
look at that.
but also, it gave me a little bit of hope when they had when the regulations changed in Europe, and all the contracts that were with that European bank had to be withdrawn and replaced with 2-year contracts and that sort of thing. So I thought, well, if it was if it wasn't legitimate and dealing with a bank, then they would just say, let's hope nobody notices.
Yeah, or just fold, take your money and run.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hopeful, but I'm diversifying against it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, well, as you know, I'm a big fan of diversification. So you asked for
Yeah,
a synopsis or an update of where we are with all the different platforms. Um,
I think if you said, hey guys, this one's coming a little less, this one's coming a little bit more. Jan and Walter and everybody, we're looking at this like, hey, there's some questions. Maybe we should pull back a little bit.
yeah,
I mean, the fact that everybody had questions about Bit Harvest, that's a red flag to me. We would have all known that. You and I probably wouldn't have put our money back into it.
yeah. See, the reason I feel sheepish is because I actually I know that I shouldn't have put my money. I know that that's what companies do when they want to grab your money. They say there's a special offer, buy
Right,
one and get
right.
two. So you put even more money in, and then they go, ha ha, sucker. And I didn't
Yeah,
spot that that's what these people were doing. Oh, you've got to upgrade your boosters. I didn't spot that that was the same thing.
yeah.
So I feel a bit silly.
Whenever I see a promotion, I'm gun shy for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and. I think we should have spoken about it more openly. That we think that's a red flag,
Yeah,
but we
sure.
didn't. We didn't. We can't.
Next time, Next time.
Next time, absolutely. Well, that's what we're looking at now is a way to manage the decline of these companies so that we're ahead of them, which is kind of interesting. The strategizing behind that is blowing my mind a little bit, but
That's good.
yeah. So just very briefly then, Republic of Old Souls is still transferring across from Matrix Freedom. We're still all waiting for different things to be paid out from the inland revenue. Lots of people that have started processes have got to the point where we're just sat waiting for the inland revenue to supply the money. And there's nothing anybody can do about that
Yeah.
until it turns up. As you know, there was a government shutdown in the US. So we think that's had a bit of an impact. But also, the company itself has taken several attempts, several bites of the cherry to get this right. Hopefully, they've got it right. There's no guarantees they've got it right. It might be the Inland Revenue come back and say, "Oh no, you should have filed, that 1076B, not the 1076A." And we all go, "That's another six
Yeah.
months
Yeah.
before we get any money." But at the moment, we
Yeah.
think we're just waiting for them to fund the ledger.
Okay.
With Veralio, I keep getting assurances from Lyndon that Veralio is going to be opened up again soon and is bigger, better, faster, more low calorie, rust resistant, economically friendly, bigger, stronger, faster. Okay, so we've got all that to look forward to.
Right.
I still have great confidence in them. I just wish they'd pull through. Mind you, having said that, we don't want to jump in with something that if we're going to lose money. So I do have confidence with them. But if it's not going to work, then I'd rather they were just honest with me and we can go do something else.
Right.
With we looked at one called Zopair, and I don't think we're going to be proceeding with that. It turned out not to be as reliable as we thought. So we're going to knock that off, knock that on the head.
All right.
What else have we got? BitNex. Still like BitNex. As you know, I was reluctant at the beginning. But now that I've got my head around it and I know some people who have been paid out and there's all sorts of videos of that around the internet, I've got a lot more confidence with it. So much so I bought everyone I know a contract.
Okay.
Um,
I think with BitNex, I think we're all waiting on you to get paid. Because we all know you. We've been looking
Yeah.
at your face for almost 2 years. When you get paid out, it'll be like, oh, okay.
yeah. And you know that if I don't get paid out, I'll also tell you. So
Exactly.
so what have I missed? Bit Harvest is gone. Oh, E-Estate. Yeah, E-Estate is doing good, doing well. They've sold out a few properties since we've been with them. They've brought on two or three more properties, special offers and things like that on the Lakeside House. So that's all rolling on. I've been working on some strategies. I haven't really had a lot of time being on holiday. There's too much sunbathing and swimming and stuff to do, so it gets in the way of doing work. But I've been doing a little bit of analysing, and with these, if you apply compounding to these real estate contracts, you can make a huge amount of money in the next 3 or 4 years. Sorry, just a second, I can mute you. We'll talk in a minute. Yeah, so you can make a lot of money just by compounding. The great thing I like about e-estate is, let's suppose you put, well, you know that I've got a background in real estate anyway, and it used to be that, you would do a huge amount of work up front and then you get paid over a long period of time. You're making a small amount of money for a long period of time. And it's good, but it could be better. Whereas with this, you do very little work up front, and then you get paid back in the first 18 months, you get paid back 3 times, 3x, whatever you put in,
Yeah.
roughly. And then you go into a passive phase of 10%. So that first 18 months where you're receiving all this big money, that's well, my strategy involves taking all of that and reinvesting it. So I started with a few thousand. I'm not going to put any more money in, but as I'm making money there, I'm buying more and more and more property. So I'm compounding during that first 18-month phase. And the plan is then to have a lot of these 10% per year on the back end. So
And then do you
that's,
feel confident about it, or should you be taking money out just to like we just talked about bid harvest? You're compounding it. Should you be pulling your money out,
yeah,
getting break even?
yeah, I've done that.
Okay, okay,
I think I'm still in for about $200. So
okay, cool.
yeah, so I like estate. It's not massively complicated, so we can present it to anybody, and they can get in
All
for,
right,
in some cases, as little as $10.
right,
Not that I recommend that, of course. If somebody wants to make some money, don't get in for $10. But people can get in and learn how it all works for very little money.
yeah, yeah. I guess with all these, like I was thinking about bid harvest, was it seems like if you want to make some money, it's best to get in with as much as you can at the time and ride the wave, so to speak.
Yes.
Make your money back, and then let it, whatever it does, it does.
Well, it's interesting you say that because Jan made the same observation at the meeting that we had the other day. Somebody said about, you've got to be careful when you get into these things. And he said,
Right,
well, yes, I agree. However, somebody who got in and bought 200 boosters right at the very beginning of Bit Harvest, they've made a fortune.
right, right,
So don't test it with $1,000 and then after a year, so now I'm going to buy 200 boosters. That's crazy.
right. Exactly, exactly.
If you don't get started big at the beginning, then don't worry about getting big. You either build and build and build slowly, and if it goes pop, it doesn't hurt you too much, or you just don't put a big load of money in, which again, I'm the one, I was guilty of putting a big load of money in for the upgrades. So
Yeah,
yeah, so there's an interesting point you make, Sean.
yeah,
You're a very wise young man.
yeah. I don't know about that. I put five grand extra in 2 months ago, but I saw I didn't see the writing on the wall. I saw the cash on the wall in 200 days.
Yeah.
That was a live and let learn on that one.
Okay, well, thanks for that, Sean. Go on to a couple of people got their hands up. So, Jonathan, you're first on my list, I think. There was Kid Rock, but I think Kid Rock has decided he'll talk to me later, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Um, so as you know, I specialize in new chain and I'm working closely with you on e-estate. And e-estate I like because, it's an industry which non-crypto people recognize and it could bring them in easily. So I'm working on that and advertising it. So that's a company I do like, actually. Um, the problem is, I've noticed, is that I've ended up, with Trade Like Crazy, for example, in a situation where I give my money to a third party, through a package, and, my money's then at the mercy of that company, and they can run off with it if they
Yeah.
want, or if they crash. So that's the problem. So, whether it's Veralio or Uchain, um, yeah, I think it would be great to have a company, um, as Path Warriors, whereby the asset belongs in your um, wallet or exchange account, um, and therefore you can liquidate it or withdraw it or move it whenever you want, and it's in your control at all times.
Yeah.
And that's how we would avoid this situation again.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I know you have points to raise about Uchain, but that's why I joined it, and that's why I specialized it, because I said I can't be in this situation again. Um, and yeah, so long as I'm in control of the money, that's fine. That's fine by me. But it's just your decision. It's just my opinion.
I know we'll probably have this discussion again another 100 times, but I respect your decision. I've never said anything bad about U-Chain. I think it's a good business. It's just, I just
Mhm.
don't believe it's suitable for wealth warriors. And as you know, there's a lot of people in the team that have joined you. So, it's all to the good. It's all about making money. Um,
Mhm.
so, just to address something you said there, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself a little bit. Where we're going to talk about Loom-X in a minute. One of the things I really like about Loom-X is that every time your trading bot makes $5, it gets put back into your MetaMask wallet or your token pocket or your trust wallet, whichever one you're using. So the money comes back to you. You don't have to push a button to request it. You don't have to wait 2 days for somebody to push a button to their end to say, yes, you can have your money. As soon as it makes $5, bang, it's back in your account. And some people have gone crazy and put $10,000 into Loom-X immediately, and they're getting these payouts 3, 4, 5, 10 times a day. So I like that because it just means that the money comes back into your wallet. You then decide, are you going to reinvest it when you've got enough money? The least you can invest is $100. So are you going to reinvest it or are you going to take it and spend it? You have to make that decision. It's not the company making the decision for you, keeping hold of your money. So yeah, that's good. And of course, Viralio, the money stays in your exchange account. With e-estates, strangely, although I like e-estates, once you've bought the property, of course, you can't then take that money back out. But it does pay you. You can take the profits out as the profits come in. You can take them out every single day if you want to, which is not bad. Okay, so thank you for
Yeah.
that, John.
No, that's great. Yeah, I on estate I have you probably come across companies whereby you can crowd fund a property, and you get a percentage of the yields, and that's why I think it's great. But it's just in the crypto world, so it's a really good concept.
Yes,
So yeah,
I've not actually looked at any of those. I've
okay,
got an inherent dislike of crowdfunding. I think just because of the first couple I looked at when it was brand new, um, they look kind of hokey. I'm sure they've matured and developed since then. Okay,
okay, thanks.
thanks for that, John. LK, you're up next.
Hey, how's it going, Eddie?
Incredible, thank you. You?
I'm doing good, man. Hey, some of the stuff we've been talking about, or you and the other guys talking about, BitNex. I kind of got hope and faith in that one. Like Sean said, we're waiting for you to get paid. When you get your payout,
No pressure then.
that'll give us a little more, you know, hey, I feel a little better about it, but it could still be a Ponzi. I mean, you just think about it. I mean, they're getting just $100 from thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of people. They all got to wait at least 2 years. Sure, one or two people might get a payout over that time, a big payout, but I'm looking at it as it's been in business for how many years now?
Since 2018, so that's coming up to 9 years now, isn't it? Coming up to 8 years. Coming up to eight
It'd be
years.
a shitload of people that have gotten paid. And you say actually know people personally that have gotten a payout?
I only know one person personally. He's Mario, who was in the Bit Harvest group with us, who's in the leaders group with us, with Jan. So I know him. I don't know him well, but I do know him. And he's
And
the
he
one
did.
that, you know the video that's on your landing page, your BitNext landing page.
Mhm.
Okay, that's him, the one who received $400,000.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought that was some. Was he the? I thought that was a German guy.
Yeah, that's right. That's
He,
him.
Or
he's a German guy, yeah.
he is a German guy. Oh, okay, okay. So, like I say, I still got my kind of got my doubts about. Hey, is Bitnix really legitimate, or are they just taking $100 from tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, and they got to wait 2 years, and it could still crash and burn by the time I get to where I'm supposed to get my payment?
The argument against that, LK, is that when you set up a contract, they pay out more in terms of all the different setup fees, and in commissions to upline people and team leaders and things like that. They pay out far more than $100. So if it's a Ponzi scheme, it's not a very good one.
Okay, okay, well, let's just hope for the best. Now,
So, you know, with a
do you look
Ponzi
at,
scheme, somebody pays in $100 and they distribute that among other people, but the most they can distribute is $100. And I think with BitNex, they actually distribute something like $160. So it couldn't exist as a Ponzi scheme. There must be some money coming in from somewhere, which of course is part of the loan that you make from the bank. You borrow the money to pay for the insurance, pay the setup cost, pay all the commissions to all the upline and so on and so forth. So that shows that there's more money going out than coming in, and therefore, I was going to say it must be legitimate, but you know what I mean. It can't, if it's something other than legitimate, it's not a Ponzi scheme, in my opinion.
okay, now another question. Do you view BitNix as is it partially a smart contract that's doing the work?
I believe I believe what I've been told, only based on the fact, as I said, I think last week, on last week's Zoom call, I said that there are some businesses you have to analyze the company and you know see how they were formed, the repute of the management, and so on. So there's all this sort of checking it as a company, and then there are some businesses where you've got to say, well, it's pointless checking that. I can't check out that smart contract. Nobody will give me a copy of it to take it apart and look at the code. So therefore, the only proof you've got that that smart contract works is that we find some people who have had some money paid out from that smart contract. And that kind of proves the smart contract works. That's the only way you can do it. Or, like we're all doing, really, is just sitting back and waiting to see if I get paid. And if I get paid, then it works. Does that make sense?
Okay, okay. Uh, Matrix Freedom, or what's it called now? Republic of Old Souls?
Republic of Old Souls.
No, yeah. I mean, we're there's a few of us in the same boat. I mean, me, you, a few other people.
Yeah.
We're waiting for that payout. IRS is, we got everything's right there, waiting for IRS to disperse the funds.
Yes.
So we're looking. You say you're looking at 3-4 months. From you say you just got on the transcript, but you said it was placed on the transcript back in August, right?
Yes, 21st of August. One of them was. The other one was put on the transcript 2 weeks ago, I think.
So you think, I know there was this little fiasco with David and this other gal here in the States here that kind of threw a monkey wrench in the whole thing.
Yes.
Would that have been the reason why things just kind of slowed down?
It might have had a little something to do with it, but they got on the case fairly quickly after all that happened. Basically, what she did is she poisoned the well in terms of all the people that volunteered to be trustees. She convinced them that their lives are in danger and they're right to be arrested if they carry on working with Matrix Freedom, because she wanted to recruit all these people to go and do something else with her. So she told them that Matrix Freedom was, unlawful, and the FBI were going to come and knock down their door if they carried on. So most of the trustees left. So therefore, if we're going to recover money and put it into our trust, we need trustees. So they're pretty quick off the mark to build up another team of trustees. In fact, they're doing it even better now. It's kind of a blessing in disguise, because the way they're dealing with trustees now is much better. It's a more streamlined process. So I don't think it might have slowed it down a little, but I don't. I think if the money had actually been paid to your trust, even though the trustee had left, you'd have known about it. Somebody would have sent you a message saying, "You got all this money." So I don't think it slowed it down.
Yeah,
In that
yeah.
sense.
Well, my understanding was that Amy also contacted the IRS and said, "Hey, all these people that are putting in, for this recruitment, it's all fraud." So I'm thinking maybe that was something that also put the brakes on it.
Well,
The IRS got
yeah, come on.
she threw out a whole bunch of shit to the IRS and hey, all these accounts are fraudulent. And so IRS basically put the brakes on anything that was
Yes.
going on at that time. So
But it would have been very easy for the IRS to appoint an auditor or two and go through all the paperwork to see that all the forms were filled out legitimately, the identification of people was have been verified and so on and so forth. So again, that might have slowed things down a little, but I don't think it would have slowed it down significantly. I think it's really there's
okay,
two
man.
things. One is that it's a process that the IRS haven't been used to until now. It's been done. It's not been done previously on the industrial scale we're trying to do it. It's been a few hundred of these recruitments every year, and now we're looking at tens of thousands of recruitments all en masse. So I think that's something they would have sort of taken a step back and said, "Whoa, all this stuff that's coming through, we better make sure the process is right." And I think that's why they knocked them back 2 or 3 times with the wrong process. If you have one person sending in the wrong form, the IRS might be inclined to just say, "Oh, well, we can work with that." But when you've got 4,000 people sending in the wrong form, they'll probably go, "Oh, hang on, let's get this corrected before we go any further." So that could be why it got knocked back last year or earlier this year and slowed things down then. So that's it. It's the sheer volume. I do think the government shutdown did have a little bit of an effect, um, but we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. It'll all come out.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, Andy.
Okay, thanks. Okay, Chat. How you doing?
Oh, pretty good. Um, I would like to refer to BitNix again.
Sure.
And what I'm finding out is that, and I use the same concept with BitHarvest. And what I did basically when I first started BitNix is I started with small amount of money. And then with that small amount of money, which was in that case, I think it was $200, if I remember, and then build it up to 1,000. Um, what I basically decided to do is to look at my daily rewards. And once they grow into $100 and plus, take the money out and you have no more guilt. So there's a third option going in, Andy, with not only short-term or long-term approach, but also the payout approach. Whatever you put in, go ahead and take it out, and then you have nobody to blame for except yourself. You're clean. You're working with house money, and that is, in my opinion, a very good approach. Is because you can apply. I applied this thing with BitHarvest. I started with $100, got the money out, and then eventually I was getting my money out when I was making money along. So that approach would be a good fundamental uh, anchor in order to how you want to go ahead and proceed further. And we managed to Sean and I have managed to put in two extra people in with the minimum amount of $100, and then we'll communicate to them exactly, build it up with daily rewards to $100, get your money out, and then you can decide whatever you want to go further. And what they told me is we want to go ahead and further into $1,000. We feel comfortable with that. So my opinion is, I think that's a very, very good approach in terms of in terms of strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. absolutely. And we've always recommended, I mean, it's hard because you can't give people advice. But you know that you can phrase it in a certain way. They know it's not advice, but I always say, I can't give you advice, but let me tell you what I do. And I always take my money back out as soon as I can, and then carry on with the free money that I built up since. So that's wise words, chat.
Now, yeah,
Go on.
the other thing which I wanted to communicate to you is BitNex a Polygon blockchain?
No, it's a smart contract. I don't know which network it's on.
Because it's Ethereum, it's working off Ethereum, correct?
I can't remember. Sorry. That does ring a
Okay.
bell that is on the Ethereum network, but I wouldn't put a
the
pound
token,
on it.
yeah, and the token is Ethereum token. So I'm saying is that is a indicator of certain amount of movement in the direction of comfort for people to see how they can want to go and continue how to grow their own businesses on BitNex. That's basically what I'm trying to communicate here. Is
Yes.
we have to give people some of the fundamental knowledge of the newbies, because these newbies, they may say they're newbies, but they know a little bit about crypto though. I'm surprised. They know how to work with wallets, which to me has always been a question mark, but I'm getting better and better. But I'm basically saying to you, Sean, I think that approach, the third approach, is probably the most safest one, and if we can phrase it in a manner as you mentioned, in a manner that is not advice. That's my stand on this position. Thank you very much.
Thanks for that, chat. That's obviously wise words. So, thanks. One of the challenges is, of course, that we aren't anybody's boss. We can only say to people, don't leave yourself exposed any more than you need to. Get your money out as quickly as you can. But some people see, well, if I take this money back out, that's going to slow down my progress. It's going to take me longer to get where I want to go. So there's that as well. So, and I'm like that with some things, and I say, well, if I were to lose that $1,000, I do have a certain risk appetite, and I'm prepared to say, well, this particular operation, if I lose $1,000, I'm fine with that. But other platforms, I say, no, I want to get my money out before we continue. So there are lots of different ways of looking at it. And we've got to encourage people to do, or to at least identify what they're comfortable with, what their risk appetite is, rather than just blindly going along thinking they're following us when we don't want them to follow us. We want them to figure it out for themselves. We'll help them with the nuts and bolts, but the strategy has to be their own.
But that's where the follow-up comes in. You've got to create a relationship with those people in such a manner that they trust you, that you care for them,
Yes.
and that circle is closed.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is the key thing. But before the trust, before the relationship part, you have to have a hospitable way of getting involved with them. And that's another thing which I've just recently have learned, that hospitality in this business is paramount. It's
Yes.
really paramount. That's your breaking point. That's what I'm finding out to be gaining more traction in terms of getting people willing to listen to me as opposed to criticize me.
Yes. And as you know, we've been banging on. Well, I've certainly been banging on for the last 2 years about maintaining your community. Look after your community. Lots of business leaders, they say the words, but they don't actually do it. They don't know how to do it. They think they do, but they don't. The same people who say, no, it's people first. If they get somebody who one of their people doesn't understand or criticizes them or suggests something they don't like, they're the first ones to say, well, fine, we'll leave them behind, So, but as you know, we believe that community is the most important thing. And now what's happening with me getting involved with Jan a little bit more? There's a couple of things happened last year why I sort of drifted away from Jan. One is As you know, I got really, really ill. And I'm really only just recovered now. This holiday, it's not really a holiday, it's convalescence. I've actually been walking and swimming and and eating healthy food, which is really annoying because there's so much other food on the menu that's not healthy. Um, you think holiday, yeah, I can do this. No, that's not this sort of holiday. So I'm almost fully recovered. The only thing that they reckon that it's going to take my brain another 5 years to get back to where it was. So apart from that, everything else is tip top. So there's that. So I drifted away from jam because there was also this thing about the change to the bit harvest project. When I pointed out to him, and I didn't know, he didn't feed back to me that he'd taken it to the management twice and fought my corner twice. I just felt that he'd ignored me. I stopped getting messages from him and this sort of thing. So I kind of thought he's bought into the bit harvest, the whole bit harvesting, and he come away from what I originally set out to do with him is Diversity 2030. Now he'd already started the project with Walter and a couple of other people. I got involved like a year after he'd started that, and I liked that idea, the diversity, all these different things. And with bit harvest, it seems like he'd forgotten the Diversity 2030 and he'd focused just on bit harvest. So I sort of came away, and that's why I maintained the thing with Wealth Warriors. We're diversifying, we're doing other things, not just bit harvest. Well, now it seems like Jan's back in the saddle in terms of diversity, which I'm pleased about. A lot of his team are going to really benefit from that. And we will, and we will. We're not following blindly, but we're willing to look at whatever's going on there, because when Jan does something, if we say, well, we're going to do this for a year, then I believe we'll all make good money within a year. I believe that, and hopefully that's true. So what's coming out of that then is one of these things that's always held me back from things that are a little bit, they're going to, they might fail one day. This business might fail one day. So I don't want to get involved. And like I say, I've challenged that thinking of mine. Sorry, Sean, I will get to you in a minute. I've just hit a roll actually. So I've challenged that thinking of mine by I don't know, just all this analysis is all this thought about bit harvest, why I wasn't listened to, what's happened, and how can we prevent it in the future, and this sort of thing. Well, the answer is we can't prevent things like that, but we can manage ourselves and our teams better so that they don't lose if and when these things happen again. So therefore, that takes away some of this pressure about, well, I don't want to get into something just in case it fails. The other thing that I realize is actually something we've been talking about for a long time is maintaining the community. So just imagine this scenario. We all now get into Loom-X. And if we're going to get in, then we should kind of get in for the biggest amount we can as quick as we can, not start with 100 and then in 10 months' time we say, now I'm going to put 5,000 in. Get in for 2,000 or 3,000 now if you can, if you've got it. And then in 10 months' time, we might be thinking, right, get your money back out and we'll be walking away. So you want to get your timing right, get in for the biggest amount you can at the beginning. But we were also saying, well, if we bring people in month 10 and we're going to be walking away in month 12, they might lose out. And the answer is yes, they might lose out. However, we've now got them in our community. So when we get into the next one, they'll be one of the first ones in to make sure that they recoup the money they lost in the last one. They'll be in early for the next one. Does that make sense? And so we need to start thinking or having more thinking along the lines of we need to get in earlier and tail off rather than get in with a little bit earlier and build up. And don't be afraid to bring new people in further down the road, even if they do lose out, as long as we've been honest with them and brought them in and they haven't extended themselves any more than they can and this sort of thing. And they're part of our community, they enjoy the experience of working with you, then we can take them with us into the next project. And that's kind of what we've been trying to do with Wealth Warriors. And I think maybe my thinking has been holding us back a little bit, but maybe we just need more opportunities for that to happen. So yes, that one failed. But we managed ourselves properly. We made some money while we were in it. Let's move on to the next one. What Jan's actually doing is he's taking some of his earnings, some of his earnings, and he's funding some people to get started in Loom-X. And so we can do the same thing, can't we? If we make good money in Loom-X and we brought somebody in it 2 months before the whole thing goes pop, then we put aside a little bit of a fund and we can say, well, listen, tell you what, you lost $1,000 in that because you got in just before it went. I'll get you started in the next thing for $1,000. Okay. And if we're making money in these ventures, we can do things like that. If we're coming in reluctantly and not making very much money, then it's hard to do something with nothing. It's hard to forge ahead if we've sort of tied ourselves down with fear. And I think I've been guilty of the fear. I've been guilty of trying to get into things that are definitely not going to fail. And guess what? They fail anyway sometimes. So that's I think, that's my thoughts on how we as a community should be sort of thinking about the future. Okay, so what do you want to know about Loom-X? I should have possibly prepared something for Loom-X. All the different bullet points. I've got a presentation, in fact. I could get the presentation up. Let's do that. It's in my own group. Two files. Yes, so share a screen. Okay. I'm not going to go through this. We went through it in quite a lot of detail a while ago, but I'm not going to go into all the ins and outs of where the logo came from, this sort of thing. But the idea is that they're weaving the financial future. They're taking several elements that don't normally go together and building financial success. So when you get hold of this document, it's available. It's available to you if you want it. You can read all this. So it's 100% transparent, no manual review required, and it's truly trustworthy because it's written in the code of the bots. So nothing can change. So it's all done on the blockchain. So there's two parts to it. One is the mixing engine, and the other is the AI quantitative arbitrage matrix engine. Try saying that after a few beers. So these are the two different strategies. One is cross-chain asset transfers, which cross-chain is basically just across different networks. So maybe you've got USDT on the BSC network, and then you've got USDT on the Sol network, and they're slightly different prices. So there's money to be made. And so just cross-chains, which is a new thing. Nobody else is doing that. I've described the different networks, even though they're all USDT, they're like different railway networks, and none of the train tracks cross each other. None of the train tracks, you can't swap from one network of train tracks onto the other network because there's no point at which they cross over. So that's kind of that's been the blockchain analogy until now. And then the arbitrage matrix engine is high frequency multi-strategy arbitrage. And some of you know arbitrage is finding the same asset at two different prices, one in one exchange, one in the other exchange. And so you buy here, sell over there, and you've made $10 immediately. Okay, and arbitrage isn't new. It's not new for the digital world. It's been around ever since there's been trading. The price of gold in China was different from the price of gold in Spain. So when you're taking your trading caravan from Spain to China along the Silk Road, then you load up with gold, knowing that you're going to sell it in China for more money than you paid for it in Spain. That sort of thing. So it's always been that way, except now it's all done over by computers. But you can do arbitrage in you can do it in currencies. You can say, well, on this in this bank I'm going to get this much for my dollars, and in this bank I'm going to get that much for my dollars. I'm going to buy them there and sell them there and make some money. That's kind of why they have a spread as well, to try and discourage people from doing that, because you've always got to beat the spread before you start making any profit. And this does it all in fractions. I mean, literally fractions of a second, milliseconds, microseconds. Well, I'll get onto the artificial intelligence bit in a minute. So zero knowledge proofs and decentralized routing protocols. Ooh, okay. Zero knowledge is basically, if you were going to trade, then you would want to know what that, say you're going to trade gold, you want to know what's been happening with gold for the last, I don't know, 10 minutes if it's a short-term trade, what's been happening for the last 2 days if it's a longer-term trade, what's been happening for the last 3 months. So you need some knowledge about gold if you're going to trade with gold. This doesn't do any of that. It says snapshot, there's that price there, let's do it. So with zero knowledge, it just makes that decision and does it. And then the AI quantitative arbitrage matrix engine is dynamic self-adapting. It's a financial matrix. So it's really only just got started, and it learns as it goes, as a lot of AI does. I'm not going to go into all the different words there. That we'll cover that at some point probably. Dynamic capital allocation. So it utilizes zero knowledge. I forgot what the ML means. Doesn't matter. And then you put it through its paces with what we do, and then it analyzes the market, on-chain activity, its strategy performance in real time, and dynamically allocates capital to optimal strategies. So sometimes it'll take your capital, and it's when the engine makes some money, you get some of that profit. Sometimes I'll get the profit, and sometimes somebody else will get the profit. But there's so many of these transactions happening every single second that there's plenty of profit for everybody to make. So there's 6 different things there. There's cross-platform arbitrage, triangular arbitrage, which is a little bit more complicated. It involves 3 different exchanges, and it might even involve more than one coin. So, to be able to work that out and get it done in fractions of a second, awesome. I know it's only maths, but it's still amazing to see. The cross-chain mixing arbitrage, the spot futures arbitrage, the brick arbitrage, which is market making, and the DeFi arbitrage. So there's more information about all of those available soon. This is a contracts. We've got the Pulsar, the Stellar, Stellar Orbit, Stellar Swirl, Nebula, the Stellar Core. The names have changed, I believe, since this was written. Pulsar, Orbitum, I can't remember the third one, then Nebula and Stellar Core. Okay, so they operate for 7 days, 30 days, 90 days, 180 days, 360 days. And they've all got a minimum investment of $100 USDT. And the yields are literally, they're dovetailed together. So this one's up to 0.6 and this one's from 0.6 onwards. And there's a redemption as well. That's a clever little gadget as well. You can redeem some of your contract. If it's more than $200, then when you get to 50% of the way through the contract, you can claim back up to 50, or you can take back up to 50% of the of your stake money. So let's suppose the 30-day contract, you put $10,000 in. After 15 days, you can say, well, I need $4,000. So you can just take out $4,000. You can redeem $4,000, and you can redeem a maximum of 50% of the contract. Of course, after that, then there's less money in the contract, so you'll earn less money every day, but even so, you can get half of your money back. So it's call it 50-50. 50% of the time period has elapsed, so you can take up to 50% of the stake capital back. The reason it doesn't work with a 7 days contract is because it's just too short a period of time. So there's no flexible redemption. With all of the others, you've got to have at least $200, because when you've taken your 50% out, you've got to leave at least $100 in to carry on working. So if you've got $100 in there, that will be, you won't be able to redeem it. $199, you won't be able to redeem it. $200, you can. There's an example there. So I've just done that. There's an automatic profit distribution mechanism. When accumulated profits reach equal to or more than $5, 5 USDT, then it's sent back to your wallet immediately. You don't wait, it's bang, back to your wallet. That's a really neat thing, because then you don't have to think about, I've got some money, shall I withdraw it? There's also no withdrawal fees, which I was amazed by, because how many times do you have these platforms where you earn some money and then you want to take your money out and they say, oh, well, now you've got to pay us 1%. Well, why not just let us earn a little bit less, so that when we are taking money out, we don't have to pay a withdrawal fee? It's just because you just feel like you're being used then, don't you? It feels like every opportunity they're going to claw back some of this money. Well, just tell us what's ours and let us have what's ours. That's all we need. Redemption mechanism, we talked about that a few seconds ago. 50% after 50%. And here's a profit calculation. If you take 10,000 USDT in a 360-day cycle, as an example, the yield is going to be between 1.3 and 1.8%. And the annualized yield is 110 to 520. So that's a huge, that's the effect of compounding, that gap has become so big because of 1.3 to 1.8% compounded, up 0.5% in the middle there being compounded. Now, this is part of the compensation plan. This is community management earnings. There's 8 levels, V1 to V8. You need to have at least a single contract on the go yourself, which you go into. And then if your team has a liquidity performance of 20,000, then you qualify at V1 and you get 10% mixing profit share, 10% AI quantitative profit share, which means that, in short, in layman's terms, every time somebody in your team if their money earns some money, you get some money as well. Not from them, they still earn what's agreed for their contract, but some of the money also comes to you. Now, the peer level bonus, that's really if you're at a certain level on this chart and somebody catches up with you, somebody from below you catches up, then the minimum you're going to get is 10%. Even if they overtake you, you shouldn't really get any sort of commission because they've overtaken you, but you do get 10%. So the least you'll get is 10% peer level bonus. So V2, you can see the figures there, and again, it's 20% and 20%. When you've got 10,000, so at some point you want to aim to have 10,000 USDT in your personal, in your personal account. And then you build your team up to hundreds of thousands or millions even. You can make a huge amount of money here on the commissions. So this is nothing to do with taking money away from the people that you're working with. This is all money that the company's allocated for you having done what you've done on this chart. The reason I mentioned, I'll come on to why I mentioned that in a minute. So this is an example of a V5 community leader. He's going to get 616 every day. which is about 18,500 per month, which is about 225,000 a year. So just a V5, you'll be earning $600 a day. Your personal earnings from your own contracts will be about 4 USDT. Your peer level bonus, which is the minimum you can get, is 220 USDT, which means you're going to get daily 840, monthly 25,000, annually 300,000 as a V5. And this is the chart that you see me posting a few times. If you introduce one person, you unlock the commissions you can earn on level 1. When I say introduce, that's one person with at least $100 USDT contract. They're active if they've got one contract. If you sign up lots of people and nobody buys a contract, they're not active. So you need one active referral, unlock tier 1. You also need $100 yourself, or 100 USDT contract yourself minimum. And then you receive 20% of the quantum mixing of the one person you've introduced, and 20% AI quantitative profit share of the one person you've introduced. So if they put $1,000 in, you're going to receive 20% of whatever they're earning from their quantum mixing profit shares. You'll get sort of a matching bonus. When you have 2 people, then you get commissions down 2 levels. As long as you have $500 in your own contracts. 3 people, 3 levels is unlocked with a $1,000 contract, and so on all the way down. Now, Jan actually laughed when he saw this, because he said this is what Andy wrote to the company about. This is what I wrote to the company about. One of the things, anyway. Part of the compensation plan they turned upside down, and the people that were doing all the work and selling the boosters were making 4%, and the people that had 8-star were making 40% based on the work somebody else was doing. That's why I was telling them it's unethical. They've changed it. It's an unethical business model now, and that's why I kind of lost faith in it and couldn't get behind it anymore. Whereas these people have done it the right way, and the people who do the work get 20%, and the people that taught them how to do the work get 4%, which I think is the right way of doing it. So there's a roadmap. We're not going to go into that. But as you can imagine, companies that are forward-thinking have a roadmap. Some of this they've already done, 1, 2, and 3. I think they've already done. We're on 4 now. But it's really about the development of the software. It's nothing for us to be that excited about. Our futures now. You have asset flows without borders. Privacy is safeguarded. A lot of people are very keen on privacy on the internet, on the blockchain, because, as you know, if you send somebody some money from one of your wallets, they can then do a reverse lookup, and they can see how much money you've got in your wallet. Okay? Why? It doesn't bother me, to be honest. I've never had enough money in my wallets to concern myself with that. But I can imagine a lot of people are concerned. Whereas all of this is basically it's all fragmented. All the data is fragmented, distributed, and brought back together again at the end of the process. It's a little bit like the Star Trek transporters. You can, it all disappears, and then it's zoomed off someone, onto the planet or something, and then all reappears again as a Captain Kirk or whatever. Okay, and that's kind of what this does. It breaks down all of the Bitcoin in this transaction and spreads it out, smears it across the network, and then rebuilds it back into your asset where it needs to be. So it can't be traced back from there back to the origin. It's pretty close, pretty clever. And without borders, of course. One of the things we like about the blockchain, there are no borders. Transparency. Blockchain technology ensures everything is transparent and verifiable. Every single transaction done in the software is visible in your app. You can just sit there and watch it all day, every day. And these trades just never stop. Efficiency, AI-driven, fully automated execution. Enhances capital efficiency, which is pretty cool. So there we go. Freedom, privacy, seamless flow. And that's kind of where we are now. We're gearing up to. Sorry, I can't. As you know, I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. There's a stop share wrong. There we go. Okay, that's where we are right now. The doors are open with Loom-X. We are actively moving our teams, migrating our teams across to Loom-X from BitHarvest. So if you've got people that were with you in BitHarvest, you haven't seen them for a little while, then now's the time to rekindle that relationship and get them with you in Loom-X. And the reason I'm keen, there has to be a time where you say, like, this is where we're going to, this is what we're going to do going forward. And I think the time for maintaining our communities is right now. We've kind of been a little bit lax. I've got dozens of people, if not hundreds of people in BitHarvest that I haven't been in touch with for a year and a half. Okay, so I'm as guilty as everybody else. So I'm going to be spending time to reach out to those people and rebuild the relationship and let them know that yes, BitHarvest has gone, but as a community, we're moving on, not only with Loom-X, but also other things in the future. And that's the key thing, really. It's going to be, we're going to capture these people again, bring them into the fold, all work together for their betterment and for ours, and maintain that relationship going forward. So that's kind of where I think we want to have our thinking about that. So now is a great time to reach out to the people that were with you in BitHarvest, even if I haven't spoken to them for a little while, and get them back with you. They trusted you well enough at one point to join you with something. So let's sort of, make sure that we help them with that again. So Chet, you've got your hand up.
Hey, Andy.
Oh, sorry, Becky. Chet's got his hand up. You haven't got your hand up,
Okay.
So, but I will come back. I'll come back to you in a second.
Andy, in your community management earnings slide, you mentioned V1 and V2 in there.
Yes.
And it says personal liquidity performance going from 100 to 500. Does that mean that you have to jack up your deposit to a $500 level in order to get monies from V2 level?
You don't necessarily need to jack up your deposits, but if you can do it just by compounding your earnings.
So if I put in enough people in there to cover the $500, that should do it then, right?
I'm sorry, say that again.
If I sponsor $500 worth of income or volume, then I'll be able to cover my condition of meeting the 500 level.
No, that's 500 personal liquidity. So that's your own account having contracts worth $500, 500 USDT.
So you have to start with 500. You can't grow it to 500.
You can grow it to 500, yes.
Okay.
So you can start, let's suppose you say, well, I can start with 200. Okay, so you start with 200 and you make profit several times a day. Every time you get $5, it ends up back in your wallet. And every time that builds up to $100, you can buy another $100 contract. So when you've got $500 worth of contracts, then you qualify at that level.
Okay. This is very similar to, is it base compounding? Is that something that you're
I don't know if it's
familiar
base compounding, but it's certainly compounding, yes.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to get some information about this. This is the first time I've seen this. So I'm sure you're going to repeat this thing in detail in the coming weeks, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just wanted to show you that presentation quickly to give you some idea of the fact that the company is massively, massively into technology. It's streets ahead of anybody else in terms of technology. And some of the great benefits, one is that you get the money straight back into your wallet. You don't have to ask for it. and I'm working on a spreadsheet that is, I think, going to blow your mind in terms of compounding.
Mhm.
It's massively difficult to write this spreadsheet, but it's going to be so good.
Do they have a token on the board on the marketplace or not?
So do they have what open?
Do they have a token, a coin on the board?
Not yet, but they're going to build. They're going to have a token. Yes.
What is the liquidity of the company, do you know?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
What is the liquidity of the company? How much money have they got in?
Okay, let me have a look. Now, let me show you. Let me share my screen again. I will. I'll show you how I check. Right. So here we are. Yeah, I see you guys got your hands up. I will get to you very soon. So there's my token pocket extension. I can't remember my password. Oh, where's my what's the name called? Receive swap tap more. No, okay, let's forget that. Yeah, so I can look it up on my phone anyway. I'll get you the answer in a few seconds.
So, Andy, is Token Pocket the suggested wallet, or can we use any wallet?
Use any DApp wallet, so MetaMask,
Okay.
Trust Wallet.
Okay.
So let's go back to.
I'm sure there's a white paper for that. Is it, Andy?
I'm sure there is. I haven't got it myself. So I was on here earlier. There it is. Okay, it wouldn't scroll up for me. So I only saw it the other day. We were looking at something that they were saying we started with 10 million 3 days ago, and it was up to 43 million. That was 2 days ago. So um, it's gonna be coming up to 100 million, I would have thought. I saw it's 75, 80 million of of what you would normally refer to as assets under management, our money. I will get the answer for you, chat. I thought I knew exactly where it was, and I don't, so I apologize for that.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Becky.
I apologize if you've answered this already. I had to step away for a little bit. How well have you checked into their background? Do you know the CEO? Any information about this company?
No, I only know basically what I've been told. Jan has met the CEO, so has Mario, and we're all going to meet the CEO in Bangkok in March if we want to. Um, so no, the thing that gives me faith with this company is that you can see all of the transactions. You know, as I said, I've looked at literally hundreds of these companies where it's give me $100 for 7 days and I'll give you 2% a day and that sort of thing. And as soon as I saw that that's what this looked like, my heart sank. I thought, you know, I've seen so many of these that are just rubbish because, and the thing that's rubbish about them is they claim to be involved in all of these things, yet there's no proof that they are. There's no licensing, there's no registrations, everything's secretive. It's just give us the money, we'll give you back more money. And as you know, that's what I refer to very often as a money game or a shell game. Whereas with this, you can see all of the transactions, every single one, as it happens. And they tell you we made, you know, $50 or we made $3 or whatever it is. So that's it in a nutshell. I haven't done a huge amount of research into the company, but we're also changing our thinking from trying to ascertain companies that are going to succeed to also working with companies where we know sometimes they're going to fail, and so we manage that failure so that we still win. Even though the company loses eventually, we still win. And we can do that. We just need to be realistic about the fact that sometimes these businesses are going to fail, be aware of it, and conduct ourselves accordingly. We don't have to try to find businesses that are guaranteed to be there for 20 years. You know, I've tried that. God knows I've tried that. And they still fail. So if that game isn't working, if that strategy isn't working, then we need a new strategy. And that's what we're looking at. So we're still looking for businesses that are going to be around, be good and solid, but we are not afraid now of getting involved in something that we know is going to fail at some point.
Okay.
And with this particular one, if it's going to fail, it's not going to fail in the first year. There's an opportunity for the next year for all of us to make a huge amount of money. I mean, a huge life-changing amount of money if we do this right. All of us.
Well, the problem, to my way of thinking, the problem is with these kind of companies, if you get into the ones that you know are probably going to still fail in the future, you have a chance to make money and maybe one or two of your downline do, but eventually there's going to be somebody down there at the bottom who's going to get in right at the time that they're going out of business. And that's what I
Yeah.
don't like about
That's right.
that.
And that's what I said earlier. So yes, you did miss that. I don't like that. You and I have had discussions about this. I don't like that either. However, I've always tried to avoid it because I don't like it. Now, what I'm saying is we need to manage that. If somebody joins us just before a platform goes bust, then we don't have to let them lose out. I was saying to Sean that it's entirely possible if we do this right, we can all have a little fund put aside before the company disappears, so that people who did get in towards the end and lost money, we can say, well, don't worry, I'm going to look after you. I'm going to stake you. You lost $1,000. I'm going to stake you $1,000 in the next one, so you haven't lost out. You've carried that $1,000 forward, and also that helps you because now you're getting your new business, your next business, up and running with somebody who's now appreciative of the fact that you've put $1,000 towards their future success. So the people that get in towards the end of the one that fails are in early for the next one. Okay, so that's kind of how we need to manage this. We'd not be afraid of the failure, but to have a plan, have a strategy, so that when it happens, we and our team are all ahead of the game. We're all winning. We're not constantly afraid of the fact somebody might lose out. And we're honest about it. We're not, we don't say to people, no, this is going to last forever. We know pretty much, you know, there's a high probability that way. Because even the amount of work we did on Bit Harvest, people went to the offices and met the people and saw the booster farms and what people didn't do to check out Bit Harvest, and it still failed. That was a deliberate
Yeah.
thing. They deliberately set out to do that, but who's to say the next platform they won't deliberately set out to do that as well? So we just need to be
Yeah.
smarter than we've been.
Okay.
So, Andy, this is Clayton here. So, I can appreciate that we're going through a change of philosophy and strategy, and I think that's all good. You've looked at 250 to 300 different options. Some of us in this group here are doing other things that we're quite very pleased with. Some of us have mentioned those to you. They haven't met the grade, so I'm just thinking, are you wanting to retrace and maybe hear from members in this group about other things that they might be participating in that have served them very well for a period of time?
So it's a good question. It's a good question because if a company's been doing well for, say, a year or a year and a half, and if they're going to go bust, then it's kind of too late for us to be the team getting in at that stage. We need things where most of us can get in early doors to protect those of us that get in a little bit later and actually lose money when the business fails. So I'm still interested in finding businesses. If a business has been around for 2 or 3 years and it's going to last for 30 years, then that's fine. But if it's a business that's it looks a bit dodgy anyway, and it's already been around 2 years, then that would be like another red mark against it, as well as all the other things I spot and say, they haven't got this or that or the license or the management repute of management or whatever. If they've been around 2 years, then that would be like a strike against them. Nothing definitive, of course, because I'm always looking for good businesses, but there are very few out there. Any businesses I've been past, I've still got the information, or they're still on my list of businesses to check out. I know you probably don't believe this, but I can actually sit here and check out businesses for about 4 weeks solid, do nothing else, and I'm just about clear my list. So I know some of you have been waiting a long time. But if they're already up and running, then we've got to make sure they're a good, solid business before we get in. If it's a brand new business, then we want to be in early doors. Even if that business, so what I'm saying is if it's an established business, we've got to make sure it's going to stay established and survive. If it's a brand new business, we're not bothered if it survives more than a year or two, because we have a plan for managing that.
Because I see great value in what you started with Wealth Warriors, and I think it's fabulous, and you're pretty much doing a lot of the work in the presentations that takes that off our backs when we introduce new people. So it would be super good if I don't know if you would be willing to have us maybe submit other projects that we may have passed by you in previous months and just kind of refresh that list and just kind of do a more recent review of where things are at, because it would be nice to keep the Wealth Warriors family, as tight as we can with regard to all the time that you've spent building this group.
Yeah, well, as you know, I'm always happy to look at businesses, and my watchword has always been, up until now, it's always been, if it's a good business, it's going to be around. We're not in a hurry. If it's a good business, then it'll still be around when we get to it. And now what I'm saying is we're adding on this other dimension, that if it's another business that's not yet established, we need to be in early doors. We don't want to be joining something a year after it's started, and because that's the time it's going to fail. You imagine if we'd all got into Bit Harvest 3 months ago, we'd have all been out of pocket instead of just the last few people and the stupid ones that believed about the upgrades. Sorry, I won't go on about that anymore.
So Andy, would that
Sorry,
mean
sorry, Chet. So to
that
answer your question, Clayton, yes, I'd love to. If you feel there's something that you want to bring back to the table that I've looked at before, then by all means, yeah, I'm always happy to look at things. Okay, Chet. Oh, sorry, Chet. Sorry, can I interrupt you? Because Gaia sat very patiently waiting with a hand up. So Gaia, can we hear from you?
Oh, thank you, Andy. Yeah, to understand that new system a bit better. So you can do stacking, I understand in it.
You can have as many accounts as you want.
So then you need to open for each account a wallet, a separate wallet.
It depends on your wallet. You could probably have. I don't think there's anything stopping you having one wallet drive 5 or 6 accounts, or as many accounts as you want.
Ah, so you could have one wallet address for all the accounts, you think?
I can't think of any reason why not, because the wallet really just. I mean, can you connect your wallet to more than one DApp account? I don't know. I don't know enough about DApp accounts. But if not, then yes, you would need to, within your MetaMask, for example, you would need to have several different. But you can do that in MetaMask, can't you? You can have sub accounts, sub wallets.
Yeah, you can have that in the other one as well, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, you can set
It's
up a
just
sub. Go on, sorry.
It's just to manage, of course, to log in with every little one. When it would come in one wallet, then you get all that money in one wallet, and you can then purchase another 100 buckies. So if you have all separate accounts, that's, different matter, different ball game, really.
Yeah, you just need a different plan. There's more work to do. If you've got all the money come back into one wallet and then you accrue $100, you can buy another contract in one of those accounts. Whereas if it's coming into separate sub accounts, then you've got to go through and say, oh yeah, I've got to combine it all together and now buy a contract. So there's a bit more work for you to do, but it's still doable. I think it would be good
Is there a way we can check that?
I'll ask some people. Like I say, I don't know enough about these wallets. My only experience of these types of wallets is MetaMask, and I absolutely hated it. I've spent so many hours on Zoom calls with people. You talk about the blind leading the blind. It might be the stupid leading the panic ridden. I don't know. It wasn't pretty. I mean, hours and hours and hours, and I couldn't get the hang of MetaMask. I don't consider myself.
No, I can't either.
But I've been playing with Token Pocket for a couple of days now, and it seems reasonably straightforward. However, I don't know.
I have Token Pocket and like it.
Sorry.
Thank you. No, thank you. I'm totally with you with MetaMask, and thank you. I like Token Pockets, but I hope we can do that all in one wallet address. Then that will be really good. I'm not fully agreeing with you on, put as much money in as you can afford, and that, of course, anybody who is rich can put in what they like, and they wouldn't notice when 100,000 is gone. But when you are poor or not having these funds right now, then $100 can be a lot of money, and you don't want to lose a cent in this case. So if you then introduce other people and somebody comes in with $10,000 and he comes in at the latest, say 8 months, and the whole thing goes bust, I wouldn't be able to reimburse him the $10,000 to put him in another project. So I think it has a lot to do how your money is going for yourself to be able to do anything like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's not hard and fast. I'm not saying this is what we must do, but I'm saying just get that kind of thinking in your head a little bit, that don't be afraid to bring people in towards the end or further down the road, because we can take them forward with us into the next project. you might not be able to give them $10,000, but you might be able to get them started with $100 contract in something else, which is
Sure, I'm
more than they'd have got anywhere else.
Yeah, sure. I'm all for, when people miss out and they're in my team, I would give everything away to help them first before I help myself. Well, and that is this whole network marketing and this whole affiliate marketing, always a bit of a thing. So that's why I was interested in this stacking, because then it's my own risk and my own doing. And then I feel better, I think, about it if things go bust, because too many things happen. I'm happy I didn't put anybody much in Bit Harvest. And when they changed the goalpost, I knew shit was when they start changing goalposts all the time, there is something not right. I
Yes.
reckon. I'm
Yes.
out. That stinks. All right.
And
Anyway,
like we said earlier, when they start producing the special offer, buy one or buy one get two, like we've seen before, got to get this done by Friday midnight, and you can get a special whatever. Then we know that's a money grab. And the thing is, I didn't see it when Bit Harvest were doing it and saying upgrade your boosters. You only got till Friday the 30th of October. I didn't spot that was a money grab, and I feel silly about it.
yeah, don't
It was
feel silly. I do.
It's
Yeah.
exactly the same thing. It's just different
Yeah.
color.
So for this Loom, so if I load up a USDT and I need to have BNB on my wallet, my
Yeah.
wallet, is it only that you do because you can load up with other crypto, or is it only on the BNB chain?
Yeah, I misunderstood when somebody said BNB. I thought that was the only thing you could do, but any of the networks, so you can send USDT. So Tron, Solana, Ethereum, or BSC. So I think
Okay, and sorry.
yeah, I think they're the four that you can use with Loom-X.
And then it doesn't matter then what you put in, what the results will be, or is it depending on which coin you put in?
No, it doesn't depend which coin you put in. It depends which contract you go for. And the contract is
Okay.
determined by the length of time you're prepared to tie your money up. So for 7 days, you
Okay.
get less daily interest
Yeah.
than 30 days, 90 days, or so on.
Okay. So if I want to go risk-free, say I put $200 in, after half the time, so I do it for a year, after half a year, I can get my $100 back, and I earned my $5, and I would be risk-free from there,
Yes.
right? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I understand it better. Thank you so much.
Excellent. That's a good strategy. I like that. Okay. So does anybody else need anything from me right now?
And what are the gas fees for withdrawal?
There is no fee for withdrawal. The money just appears in your wallet.
So you don't pay back to the treasury of the company
No,
in order to maintain it.
that's right.
So you don't put any money back in the event you do go ahead and withdraw the money. You don't put any money back into the liquidity pool, right?
No, that's right. So you'll see your bot make a few cents here and a few cents there, and when it gets to $5, it's sent back to your token pocket or MetaMask, whichever wallet you're using. You don't have to ask for it; it just gets sent. You don't need gas fees because it's coming from the company, so they pay the gas fees.
Oh, I see.
And they've incorporated all that into, they make a little bit more profit than they tell you, and so they pay that. And like we said earlier, isn't it annoying when you have to pay withdrawal fees? Why not just, oh, so look, you made $100, but we're going to charge you $2 to withdraw it. Well, why not just tell me when I've made $200 after the fees, and let me, don't charge, because you always feel like they're just money grabbing. Every opportunity is take a little bit more money off you. You know, that's what I feel about it anyway. Maybe I'm just, you know, too cynical, but I always prefer it when if you've got $100, well, give me my $100, right there. And that's what these people do. You earn $5 and it comes straight to your wallet. And sometimes it'll be, you know, $5.20, sometimes it'll be $6 or $7. But as soon as it's over the $5 level, bang, into your wallet.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for that chat. Mervyn.
Hi, Andy. Yes, couple of questions. The $5 that is sent back to your wallet is from the arbitrage or whatever earnings, but it could also be accumulation of earnings from people underneath you that you brought in. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so
The only thing that isn't automatically sent back to your wallet is when the contract ends, your state money stays in that wallet, and if you want it to go back to your MetaMask or your token pocket, you have to actually push a button to send it back there. But all the money you earn from your own contracts or from the contracts of the people you introduce, all of that goes back to your wallet as soon as there's $5 worth.
okay, so when you compound or you've earned enough to purchase another contract, you will see $5 from that contract separate from the one that you initially bought, or is it all just kind of?
No, you just a big long list of $5 payments to your wallet. You wouldn't be able to tell them.
It's an accumulation of everything that's earned within that time frame or whatever.
Yes, I don't know if you can drill down and see where the money came from.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway,
don't
it's
know.
probably not important. I'm just wondering how many transfers are going to be taking place. If you've got more contracts over that 1 year period, if you end up with 50 contracts, you're going to get 50 additional transfers or whatever.
Yeah, that would be horrible, wouldn't it?
Well,
Some of the guys that have already started with $10,000 contracts, they say they're getting 6, 7, 8 payments every single day back to their wallet.
nice. So where are you at with your spreadsheet? I like spreadsheets.
Yes, I'm going to do it all in code. So you put in the well, I can show you actually. I've been working on it. Let me share my screen. If anybody's not interested in spreadsheets and just wants to go off and do something else, I wouldn't be offended. Yes, it's going to look a bit like that. So here you select the different contract. You select, so it comes up automatically with the duration. You can say, well, I want the best case scenario, worst case scenario, or medium. And I'm actually going to do away with that bit. I'm actually going to, when we print out the results, it'll say it's between this and with it and this, and most likely here in the middle. So if you put in, say, $100 is going to be, and we're going to do this for a year, then click on calculate and it'll fill up when your strategy, your 360 days is up, then it's going to come in there, how much you would have made, and how much you would have made when, what am I trying to say? Well, net. So that profit you've made, you've actually spent money buying contracts to make that profit. So what have you actually made as net profit? And then, of course, when that 360 days finishes up, some of these contracts you only bought a couple of days ago, they'll still carry on running for another 30 days, 90 days, 180 days, whatever the contracts are. And so what will the final profit be? And then what would the final profit be after taking your costs into account. So I want to do it like that because I think it's very, very simple. I think if I tried to do it like the last one I did for bit harvest, that was just far too complicated. When you're showing it on the screen, nobody could see what you were trying to do. Whereas I think this will be, because then you'll be able to say, well, somebody will say, well, what will happen if I have the Nebula contract? How's that going to work out? Oh, we'll compare that with this contract, whatever. I might actually do different columns for the five different contracts. That's not a bad idea.
Show the results in a column.
Show them side by side.
Yeah.
Now the shortcoming on this, is that this column, once I set it up for, say, Nebula, all of the contracts that I'm proposing to repurchase will be Nebula. I don't know how to say, well, I'm going to start with a Nebula. Then when I've got $100, I'm going to buy a Pulsar, and then my next $100, I'm going to get a Star Core. I don't know anybody would be able to do that with a spreadsheet. Not a simple one anyway. So this column so each of the columns will always stay repurchase the same contracts.
Okay.
I like your idea of doing different.
Is that going to have any input where you compound when you reinvest? Like, is that
yes,
added into this
that's
spreadsheet?
what I'm working on now, because I've got to figure out every time I make $100, I can buy another contract. But so then I've got
And it
two
doesn't have to
contracts.
be exactly $100 either, though, eh?
No, that's right. That's what I'm tracking is the running total. I then just take the integer of that. So it might be $102 or $105 rather than just 100, you know? So that's not
Or it could
particularly
be
difficult to do. What's difficult to do is to keep track of how many contracts you've got and what stages they're at. Because for this information right down the very bottom here with this final profit and the net final profit, see, this is quite simple. At the end of the 360 days, I've got this much money. And then I've got this much money, but I paid out this much money. That's quite straightforward to do. It's these down here.
right. Yeah.
Because it'll be hard to know. I suppose I could just say, right, well, I've got, for example, 310 contracts. So I know that all of those 310 contracts would have run for 7 days. So it's going to be this much profit. I know how much one contract's going to make in 7 days. So it could be a very simple calculation, but I've got a feeling it's not going to be like that. Anyway, so that's where I'm up to at the moment.
Looks good. Good start anyway.
You don't do coding, Mervyn, do you?
Well, it's been a few years. I probably would have to retrain myself. Yeah, but yeah. So the marketing program, I guess that's something that I guess we need to learn a little bit more as to whether there's advantages. Like Jan was showing in a message that came out this morning on Telegram about building 6 wide or something like that.
Yes.
Is that what's the benefit to going wide as compared to the straight line down or whatever? Is there, can you touch on that at all? Or
yes, I think it was the first table I showed you. The second table I showed you was that if you want to unlock the commissions on level 1, you need to introduce one person. If you want to introduce the commissions on level 2, you need to introduce 2 people. So if you just put one person under one person under one person, you still only introduce one person. You won't get any commissions from levels 2 downwards. You'll only get
You don't
commissions on level one because you've only introduced one person.
you only earn commissions on the first level. Is that what you said?
If you've only introduced one person, then
Yeah.
you can only get commissions on one level. So let's suppose I were to introduce you only, okay, and you introduce
Yeah.
75 people, and they introduce 100,000 people. Okay, I don't get any of those commissions. I just get the commissions on what your contracts do because I've only introduced one person. If I introduce a second, if I introduce a second person, now I get all those commissions on your first level, which is my second level. If I introduce a third person, I now get all the commissions on your third level, that 100,000 people. Does that make sense?
That third person is stacked under the first two persons. Is that what you? No, first line. In
No,
the same line, right?
no,
Same leg.
you've got to have to unlock all 6 levels of commission, you've got to have 6 on your front line.
Okay.
I know you're struggling with this, but I don't know why.
That time of the day.
It's called network marketing.
So it's not really stacking in the traditional sense. You can, if you want to, you can build a whole network and have your own contracts in all of them. There's a limit to how much benefit you will get from that. Once you put 6 people on your own front line and put enough money in your own account to make sure that you qualify. So you need $3,000, 3,000 USDT in your account and 6 wide, and that unlocks all 6 levels. But you need a team volume of 20,000. So you need to put your 20,000 spread it out among those 6 people. And that's the maximum really you can stack. If you put more people below there, you don't get more benefit. You know, if you give them if you put a contract on your third level down, you get the same benefit from that as if you had that contract in your own main account. So there's no benefit to keep adding more contracts further down in the group. The only benefit you'll get is the 6 on the front line plus 3,000 in your account plus the other 17,000 spread among the group somewhere so that you've got 20,000 volume. Do you want to bring that back up, that chart back up?
Yeah.
Okay, let's share the screen. Okay, so if you've got one active referral, you've only got commission from one level.
Okay.
So if you want the commission from all 6 levels, you need 6 personals. Okay, then you unlock 6 levels of commission, but you also need 3,000 USDT of your own in your own liquidity. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm not sure where the 20,000 comes in. I think is on this chart up
Yeah.
here.
That was going to be my next question. Where is the 20,000?
So V1, you'd have a team of 20,000. So if you're going to do it all yourself, then you need that 20,000 in your team, 3,000 of it in your own account, 6 people introduced. So that would be 6 different accounts with $100, 100 USDT. So that's 3,600. The other 16,400 you can distribute among those 6 people, or keep it all in your own account if you want to. And then you would get commissions from all 6 levels. So there's going to be some people getting this in the group. They're going to have 6 levels of commissions to be had, but they've only introduced 1 or 2 people, so they won't get all 6 levels. So the motivation there is hurry up and get 6 people.
Yeah.
And as an upline team, when we've got our 6, we should then be saying to other people, or say as I meet new people, okay, look, I've got something for you. I've got this guy Mervyn. He's a great guy. I'm going to give you his referral link. Okay, and I put him under you so that that's one of your 6. It helps you get your commissions. So I don't need more than 6. I will have more than 6. Obviously, I'll have a lot more than that, but I don't need more than 6. So I won't break up lines of sponsorship, but brand new people that I'm bringing in, I'm quite happy to put them elsewhere in the group to help everybody else move up through the levels. But of course, the point is me doing that. If somebody else, if I'm giving them to somebody who doesn't have a commitment to put $3,000 in, it's pointless. You know, I'd be giving away good people, putting them in a position where it's going to harm the new person. It's also going to harm the existing person because they're not ready for that. They're not ready for the leadership role. So I'd never put people in a position where it's going to harm them, if I can help it, of course. A little bit of insight
Yeah,
there
I would like,
into my mind.
yeah. Well, I would like a little bit of sort of a brainstorming about this strategy because it's a little bit of a mind-boggling. What you just said is going over my brain capacity right now. You know, so
If you go to the
we
Apple
need
store,
a bit of.
you can get an upgrade for your brain at the Apple store.
Well, you
Oh,
have just
where?
a new one,
Yes.
didn't you? You just got a new one,
Get
didn't you?
32 terabytes. So I got
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea to, probably spend some time on brainstorming this different ways of taking advantage of the compensation plan or whatever, how to best set it up, based on people's finances or whatever, or ability to bring in people or, you know.
sure.
So, yeah,
We could do it on Wednesday evening if you like. If you want more Loom-X on Wednesday.
I would agree to that.
Okay.
Sounds
So
good.
Yeah,
go on.
sounds good.
Okay, we'll do that. There you go. How democratic was that? Just
Right on.
all the other
Right on.
hundreds of people who weren't here didn't get a vote, but then that's not my problem.
But I've got to go now.
Say again, Dave.
I'm going to have to leave you now
Okay, cool.
for tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Time's gone on a lot, hasn't it? It's tomorrow already. We're in the future. Do you know that?
what's
Oh,
that?
no, 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 you're running late. I'm already a long time in the future. Come on.
Well, if you're in the future, Gail, why didn't you warn me about what was going to happen earlier?
Yeah, I should have. I should have. Sorry for that.
So we'll see everybody Wednesday then.
Okay, Dave. Good to see you, my friend. God bless.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye now.
Don't forget about me, Andy. I'm going to talk to you.
I haven't forgotten. So I was just going to say, if there's no other questions, then what I'll do is I'll post this presentation. I thought I'd done it in the Wealth Warriors group, so I'll make sure it's available for you. So you can go through it a little bit before Wednesday, and then I'll be able to take any questions and stuff. We'll go through it in a bit more detail on Wednesday. Also, look out for the fact that Jan's going to do a presentation on this at some point. As soon as he's put the date in the diary, I will get the information out to you guys. And I know a lot of you are already in the Empower Team group as well, so you'll get that information directly from there. Okay, guys.
Thanks, Andy. Thanks.
So yeah,
Andy,
good to see you.
Thank you, Andy.
I'm
on
gonna hang
behalf of
on.
on behalf
Yeah,
of our
Dan.
group, thank you so much. You're a great leader. You're handling this very well, and we all totally appreciate your time and effort.
I appreciate that, Clayton. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andy. Bye-bye.
God bless, Nick. See you soon.
Like I said, Andy, I want to hang on a little bit too.
You want to chat as well
Yeah.
afterwards?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Alison, good to see you.
Can I say one thing, Andy?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm going to say.
Yes.
You know what program I'm going
I
to
know.
talk to you about.
I
And
know.
it fits all the criteria you've been talking about, and you still keep saying no.
Yes.
So let's maybe go over it again. Maybe you've forgotten some stuff that I've told you. Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, for one,
I don't
I mean,
think
right off the bat, everything is all in your own trading account. So even if the CEO and whatnot of the company, and they're very, very visible, walks away, you can't lose any of your money. It's all in your own trading account. So I'm just saying something
I
like
know what you're
this.
saying.
Okay. Okay. You tell me
We
why.
we will talk about this again at some point.
Okay. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, God bless.
Bye-bye.
In fact, well, I'm going to switch off the recording. There we go. So those of you that watched it to the end, well done. It's over 2 hours and 15 minutes now, so you must have been dedicated to get this far. Join us on Wednesday because we're going to be going into the Loom-X presentation a little bit more. We're never going to talk about Bit Harvest ever again, but we're talking about Loom-X now, moving forward, getting our teams in, up and running, everybody moving on together, making good money. Get in early, make big money as quick as we can. Okay, so I'll be and strategize and have this plan for if and when things go wrong in a year's time. So that's it. See you all on Wednesday. God bless. Bye.
I want to see you win. I want to see you absolutely smash every single dream you have. I want to see you overcome all of the barriers you face, and I want to see you succeed. I'm your biggest fan, your top supporter, and I'll be with you every single step of the way. You're destined for greatness, with or without me, and I want to see you achieve. Your potential is limitless, and your determination is inspiring. Keep striving for your goals, and I'll continue to cheer you on.